how to step into your identity as a successful coach, and how to do this with practical actions so that you can start seeing the success that you've been hoping for in your coaching business.
Hello and welcome to the Life First Coaching Business Podcast. I'm your host, Leonie, and I'm all about helping new coaches like you create life first businesses you love by building out the key foundations you need for an easeful and joyful business, where you get to make an impact doing what lights you up and helping others. We talk about the strategies, the systems, and the mindset you need to make your coaching business work for you. So let's dive in.
Welcome to today's episode of the podcast. I so appreciate you being here and tuning in. Today is an exciting one. I've had this on my mind for a couple of weeks and have only just got the chance to sit down and record it. And I want to talk about the concept of sort of stepping into your new identity as a successful coach. So if you're a new coach or you're a coach that's been working on your business for a while, but you don't feel like you've got to the stage where you want to be yet, that you've got big goals and a big vision of where you want to get to, this is going to help you see where you could make some mindset shifts, some behavior shifts to put yourself into the position of that coach that you want to become. I'm sure you've heard about this concept before of embodying the mindset of the person that you want to become, and it's a kind of chicken or egg situation. And maybe you've even worked on this kind of thing with your coaching clients, or you intend to work on this kind of thing with your coaching clients. And the reason that this is important is because the behaviors and the way that you think and the actions that you take change according to how you self-identify, how you see yourself. And if you're not yet seeing yourself as that successful coach who's confident, who people are queuing up to work with, the decisions that you make, the way you communicate what you're doing won't be as that person that you want to become. And so by embodying that identity now and showing up with those beliefs and therefore taking actions that that future person would take, means that you can get to that goal, where you can realize that vision much more quickly. And that might sound a bit out there and a bit woo, but there's some practical reasons why this works. And I want to refer specifically or use the example of selling in your coaching business. So if you see yourself as this successful coach that people are queuing up to work with a full wait list, with, people reaching out to you to talk to their community or be a speaker at their event, if all these things or similar things to this are in your mind for your future and the goal that you want to get to, think of how that person would show up when they were selling their coaching offer, and the way that the language that they would use, the energy that they would bring to that, and compare it to maybe a coach who's not feeling confident yet, is wondering like, do people really want to buy from me? Can I really create this transformation for them? I feel uncomfortable selling. I feel awkward. I'm not really sure what to say. You can tell there'd be a big difference with how that coach would show up and the energy they would have around talking about their offer, inviting people to learn more about their offer and sign up to work with them. So what are some practical steps that you can take to actually start to step into this new identity? Obviously, first and foremost is getting clear on that vision, is getting clear on the person that you would need to become to achieve your goals. And that's completely unique and personal to you. Maybe the things I just said there are not in your mind at all about like speaking at events and things like that, but you must have a vision of where you want to get to and what that looks like for you. And then you can start to think about, well, how would I be different? How would I show up differently? What thoughts would I be having then that I'm not having now? And start to really get clear on that and start to do some work on, what different beliefs you'd need to have, what different way of thinking. And is that in things like having complete confidence and belief in the transformation you can create for your client, in showing up with conviction and saying, I can create this transformation for you, I can help you achieve this goal, I can help you achieve this result? Is it in putting yourself on your social media, showing your face, talking on a video and feeling confident in doing that? And you might be thinking, oh my goodness, Leonie, like those are the things I want, but I can't start doing that now. I don't have the confidence. And that's when you need to start thinking about, how can I take steps towards that? What's the first step I could take towards that vision? But then doing some work around your mindset, whether that's spending some time doing visualizations, having some affirmations that you say to yourself, I'm a coach that can create amazing transformations. I change lives with my coaching offer. Whatever things that you need to start believing for yourself and shifting your beliefs around, having some practical mindset strategies around that is really important. But what's going to make the biggest difference here is when you've got clear strategy underpinning your business. And I always talk about how strategy is 20% and 80% is the mindset. But having that strategy nailed, what will allow you to build that confidence to show up in the right way, because you've got those strategy pieces nailed. So for example, once you've crafted an offer that you're really, really excited about, that crystal clear how to talk about when you show up on your social media or you have a conversation with someone at a networking event, when you know exactly what to say and you're really clear about it and really confident about it, having that strategy piece nailed allows you to start stepping into that identity. When you're really clear on your niche, when you've worked out what your personal brand and unique edge is, what your unique perspectives and points of view in your industry are, how you're differentiating yourself from the other coaches out there, that's going to give you the confidence. That's going to give you the excitement to show up with energy and talk about what you've got to offer. And some of those key beliefs are things like, there's a market out there for what I do. If you're walking around saying to yourself, is there actually anyone that wants this? Is anyone going to buy what I have to offer? And I know that that's an easy belief to slip into when you're a newish coach and you haven't got the personal proof yet of the validation that there's a big market for what you do, but also when there's a lot of noise out there about the economy and how it's harder to sell at the moment. And those things are true, but it doesn't mean you can't make money from your coaching. It doesn't mean that there's not a market for what you do. It just means that you have to really nail that strategy more than ever. So that's where that strategy piece comes in first, and making sure that you have clarity on that. And that includes getting really clear on your niche and your personal brand, crafting a compelling offer, making sure your message behind that offer is really, really clear and magnetic and cuts through to your specific ideal client. And then also that you have a strategy around selling it and you can feel good showing up and selling. And if you've heard any of my podcasts before or on my email list, you know that those are the four things, the four foundations that I talk about all the time. They're the things that I work with my clients on to make sure they've got those things nailed. And also we're working through that mindset. In every single call, I will pick out when I can see there's a limiting belief, I can see that there's a block. But the more that my clients get clear on those foundations and start building up those four elements of their business, the more I see their confidence grow, the more I see that they can show up in the right way when they're having conversations online or offline about their offers. And I just see that happen once they feel like they've got that clarity. So there is that mindset work to do when it comes to just shifting your belief and maybe doing some of those mindset techniques around it. But also nailing those elements of your strategy are so, so helpful in helping you step into that new identity. And that's where you'll really see the big shifts happen. Even for me over the past year, this has happened for me as well, where I've got much more clear around who I'm working with. I've got clarity on my niche and I've shifted from where I was when I first started my coaching business. I know that what I'm doing now feels really in alignment. I feel really excited to deliver what I've created for my clients, and that's helping me to show up with the energy that I want to, and to have all the optimism that I want to have about where my business is going and the excitement around it, rather than feeling unsure, uncertain, unclear. Any of those thoughts in your business, if you're feeling uncertain, unsure, or unclear, are really going to affect your energy and the way that you show up when you're talking to potential clients, when you're creating content, when you're doing anything in your business those things are going to trickle in and are going to creep into all the nooks and crannies and stop you from taking action in the right way. And sometimes it's really hard to see that when we're in our own heads and we've got that tunnel vision about our own work. But when you speak to someone else, when you speak to a coach or when you speak to a mentor, they can see where those things are feeding in. And for me, that can be small little things in conversations that really indicate that there's some kind of mindset block. And I think that that's very true, particularly when we're looking at the New Zealand, Australia market, who are, most of the coaches I work with are in Australia and New Zealand, and we have tall poppy syndrome to deal with, and we don't always want to stick our heads above the parapet and say that we're doing something different or we're doing something good. And that's really something that needs to be overcome, because if someone's paying money to work with you and paying money for you to facilitate a transformation for them, they need to have confidence in what you're offering them, and they need to feel confident in getting the result that you're talking about and that you're promising. So you have to show up in a way that's going to give them that confidence. And so I can't stress enough how important this is and how important it is to work on it and to build that awareness around it. And if you're finding it really difficult to do that for yourself, that's when working with a coach or a mentor can really help you to see where those blocks are coming into play and get that reassurance around what you're doing and how to make sure you're taking the right steps and that you're building that belief and also having that strategy underpinning it, so you can feel confident and you can get really clear on your communication. Because the communication is really, really key. The way you communicate in your marketing, the way you communicate in your sales process is so important, and mindset really, really affects that. So I hope that's helpful just to get you thinking around stepping into that identity. Just to summarize, first step is to get really clear on where you want to go, who you want to become, how you think that you'll need to show up in your coaching business to become that person, what beliefs that person has. It's you in the future. So getting clear on that first, then thinking of what are some daily habits I can do just to start reinforcing these beliefs, whether it's some affirmations that you say or write down or visualization that you do before you start your work in the morning, just to start cementing those beliefs and the new identity. And then 3 is nailing those foundational elements of your coaching business strategy. And then number 4 is getting support where you need it, so that you can make sure you're always working on your mindset and that you've got someone else to help pick out where it might be affecting the way you're showing up or the way that you're approaching something or the strategy that you're putting into something. I mean, I see this so clearly with things like pricing. That's probably where it shows up as the most obvious place, but it can happen throughout your business. If you've got some of these doubts and uncertainties, they'll creep in. So get some support to help you overcome that, and before you know it, you'll be becoming that coach that you're envisaging in your future, and you'll start to really get that confidence around bringing it to fruition and knowing that it can happen for you. So I hope that's helpful. If you're enjoying these episodes, I always like to try and keep them really actionable, short and digestible. So if you're loving this format and you're enjoying it, please just take a few seconds out of your day to leave me a rating and a review. That would mean so much. And I'll catch you next time.